Let's do this. The Cult of Hockey podcast by the faithful. And for the faithful, I'm David Staples of the Edmonton Journal, and I'm here tonight with Bruce McCurdy. Hey, Bruce, how you doing?
Well, my heart's still beating, David. After what should have been a routine Edmonton Oilers win tonight, they sure managed to make it exciting in the end. This team does not want to win routine games like ever again, apparently.
It's
They,
kind of frustrating, eh? Like they just dominated most of that game. They
yeah.
utterly dominated. The grade A shots were 24-14,
Hmm.
with 15-6 for the 5 alarm shots. So that's five. The Oilers should have had 7 goals, and the Blackhawks should have had about 3 or 4. But
Okay.
this game ends up 5-4 because the Oilers just kept shooting themselves in the foot. We shall get to that, Bruce. This is our 2 good things, 2 bad things, and 2 numbers podcast. Bruce, what is your good thing?
All right. Well, I'm going to go tonight with Darnell Nurse, who played his 500th game, and a very fine game he played too, particularly at 5-on-5. Um, and he was just all over the ice, David, on the first Oilers goal that finally broke the ice. Nurse made no fewer than 4 plays in succession, good ones, containing the puck in the D zone corner and not letting it get out, uh, reaching behind the net to chip a puck over to a teammate. Then he activated into the rush into the neutral zone and gained the zone. And the puck cycled around and it came back to Darnell, and he fired a perfect cross ice seam pass to Draisaitl for the open net tap in. Just a beautiful pass, which he's
Yeah.
made a few of lately. For those who think Darnell Nurse can't make a pass, well, I'll admit he doesn't make all the passes that he tries, but he sure makes some of them. And he made that one. It was a beauty.
It sure
But
was.
but that assist aside, he wound up with a. I mean, his numbers in this game, David, +4. He played 29 minutes and 9 seconds, 30 shifts, 6 shots on goal, 10 shot attempts, 2 hits, 3 block shots, and just dominant shot shares. And I thought we saw the good Darnell for pretty much most of this game, who was, really showed his athleticism and played, I thought, an extremely strong game. Oilers outshot Chicago 13-6 when he was out, and they outshot attempted them 23-12. Like it really was a pro Edmonton game. Mind you, I think he played quite a bit with the top line, which totally dominated Chicago during their excessive minutes tonight. So, anyways, 500 career games, and that's a pretty nice way to mark that milestone with a big time, big minute performance in a game his team ultimately won, hung on to win. It's hard. You'd think with a +4 you'd win comfortably going away, but this is the Edmonton Oilers we're talking about, so we'll get into that next. So anyway, congrats on the milestone, Darnell, and you did it in style.
Yeah, I graded the game tonight, and I had him at a 9, and then I had to bump it down to an 8 because of a couple. He kind of screened the goalie a little bit, I think, on Chicago's power
Domi's
play
goal.
goal. Yeah, and he was also on the fourth goal. He didn't prevent the pass out. That's a tough play, right? Like it's a power play. Essentially, it's a 6-on-5 situation. There's all
Six
kinds
on
of
four,
chaos.
yeah.
6-on-4, yeah. There's all kinds of chaos, so it's very difficult. Um, but the puck did go through him. But other than that, Bruce, he just had a commanding game. He was outstanding. He
Mm-hmm.
just nailed Colin Blackwell with a hit that hit that guy. That was an SOB of a
Shiver
hit.
me timbers. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a wicked, wicked hit. All right, my good thing. I'll go with the top line, Bruce. McDavid, a goal and assist. Draisaitl, 2 goals and an assist, and Zach Hyman, where are we, number 18, and just one assist for Zach Hyman. But I think their true dominance can be seen in the grade A shot totals. It's so 24 to 15 for the Oilers as a team for grade A shots. 24 to 14 for the Oilers.
Mhm.
But McDavid himself was in on 12 of half, so he made a major contribution to half of them. Draisaitl made a major contribution, Bruce, to 14 grade A shots
Wow.
this game, and Hyman 10. McDavid, just from the start, again, we saw this with the Oilers coming out just a little bit off, it seemed to me. But McDavid just was willing his team right from the start, and he had a couple, flashing up the ice, grade A shots in the first. There was one play. It's always I know it's a great play when I call my wife into the room to come watch the replay. Like she plays hockey as well.
Mhm.
She doesn't watch all the games. I mean, I ruin the games watching them because I'm doing all this video review work and
Right.
pausing and starting. So it's a nightmare to
Mhm.
watch the game with me. But I called her in to watch this play because he just came shooting down the wing. And this is when he cuts into the middle for all these people hacking and checking him and gets a great shot on net. He almost scored off a great pass from an RNH where he hit the post. I think that was in the early in the second.
On the power play, yeah.
Now his line did have and we'll get into this. There was a couple crappy shifts there in the second, but then he charges down the ice late in the second, almost scores, and then early in the third, just warp speed 10, and fires in a great shot to make it. I think it's 3-1.
3-1 at that point. Yeah,
3-1 at that
it was
point, and the
2-1
game
after the second.
the game should be over. It's 3-1. Can
Yeah.
you not ice the game at that point? But no, that's not what happened.
It was
So that
4-1, David. It was
yeah,
4-1. Their first 3-goal lead all month since
yeah,
the 1st of November.
and Mark
10
crushes
minutes
it.
left against a crappy team. Anyway, I think we probably already said something about this. But yeah, when McDavid was on the ice at 5-on-5, the Oilers outshot Chicago 18-3.
Yeah.
Like they were just in total command. It was basically 20 minutes of 5-on-5 play. And it was like an entire period spent in Chicago's end, with the exception of, the one cheesy goal they got from the blue line that went right through an entire phalanx of players and got Chicago on the board.
For Draisaitl, it's interesting because it seemed like in some ways kind of a quiet game for someone who made 14 major contributions for grade A shots. Because McDavid, of course, he's drawing your attention, and Nurse drew
He
a lot
kept
of attention.
feeding.
Hyman was
Kept
always
feeding
yeah.
Connor, so they were both in on
Yeah.
their chances.
Yeah, Leon made some great passes to McDavid, and Hyman's always in the middle of things, pinballing around. He's the human pinball out there. But the play that obviously stands out is the final big McDavid's final big rush of the game where he charges up the ice after getting a pass from first Ceci makes a nice play on the boards, then Hyman makes a nice play. McDavid's charging up the ice and he feeds Leon, and he lets go with the executioner shot. It is just such a wonderful thing to see those two combine on that play. It is the signature play of the Edmonton Oilers in this era. It is unbelievable, the execution, the skill, the training that both players have to have for them to execute that play that hardly anyone in the NHL can execute a play like that.
At
But
that
these guys,
speed.
these guys can do it repeatedly, and they Draisaitl just crushed that into the net for I think it was 5-on-3 at that. 5-on-3 was 5-3 was the
5-3.
score. Was the score at that point, and again the Oilers looked like they had sealed it, but they couldn't resist letting in another goal. Hyman was really good too. His goal deserved to be his first goal there deserved to be called back because he did really cross-check Seth Jones into the net. But he had 5 grade A shots himself. He was dangerous around the net, hustling all game long. The Oilers really loaded it up on that top line, though. They had all their 3 best players.
3 scorers, for sure.
So it's kind of predictable what might have happened when they weren't on the ice, but when they were on the ice, that was absolutely fantastic. I just wonder, Bruce, how much they're going to have to give tomorrow night against the Wild of Minnesota, because they sure went hard tonight. What is your bad thing?
Yeah, well, there's a few bad things that caught my eye in this game along the way that allowed Chicago back in the game. But I'm going to single out Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, who had, in some respects, had a pretty good game with a goal and assist. He made that nice pass to Connor that he should have buried. He had some good moments, but 3 penalties for 8 minutes, and at least two of the penalties very, very careless. He killed one penalty, one Oilers power play. They'd gone 0 for 2 at the power play. I think this time they're going to score, and Nuge takes a penalty 3 seconds off of the draw for getting a stick where it doesn't belong, and that's the end of that. And that was at that point he'd already taken a tripping penalty. Well, that was the tripping penalty. Then he came out of the box and he took a slashing penalty right after that, 20 seconds after he got out of the box. But worst of all, they finally get that goal from Draisaitl to give them some breathing room again. 5-3, 5 minutes left. Surely Chicago's comeback has been blunted with that killer goal. Right, this game should be over. Right, ideally McDavid and Draisaitl maybe play one shift the rest of the way. And right off the center ice faceoff, RNH, for whatever reason, he just smacks the guy right in the face with his stick. Double minor for high sticking. And now all of a sudden, well, it's a good thing it's a 2-goal lead, not a 1-goal lead, but there's 4:35 on the clock and 4 minutes on the penalty clock. And you're thinking, well, they can pull their goalie at any time. If they score in the first power play, they're going to have a 6-on-4 to tie it up. And, this game that seconds ago seemed to be safe has already been not safe by a careless play. And, it's just pay attention. Guys, pay
Yeah.
attention. Yeah. Anyway, uh,
There was a certain lackadaisical quality to the Oilers all game long. Like even when they were dominating, it just seemed there was that kind of aspect to their game of a lack of intensity. And Chicago might have brought that out in them. Chicago looks like a really kind of weird, disjointed team, honestly. Like I haven't checked their record lately, but they didn't
this
look
was
like
their 8th loss in a row.
they didn't
Like,
look like much of a hockey team. Yeah. Nugent Hopkins almost took a full season of penalties in one game. I mean, last year, Bruce, he had 18 minutes. The year before that, he had
yeah,
16 the whole season, and he got eight minutes
weird.
tonight. So it's uncharacteristic.
Well, they were
Um,
deserved penalties to my eye.
yeah, I agree. My bad thing. I'm going to go with two. It's related to this lackluster play that I was talking about with the Oilers. I mean, they were up 2-0 in the second, and then all of a sudden it's almost imperceptible, but the Chicago starts to get these weird kind of dinky chances, grade A shots around the net where they're deflecting pucks on net. There's one and then there's another. And then finally there's another and it goes in the net. Hyman, first of all, a couple of minutes before this, the big lines out there, and they had one of the worst shifts. You commented
Oh,
on this on our game grades. They had one of the worst shifts like those three players have ever had. I don't know if you ever did count
all
the
five
turnovers.
players. Oh,
All
there's
five,
about
because
6 of them.
CC and Nurse, so their five top
Yeah.
guys are out there. There must have been 6 or 7 turnovers in their own zone, keeping the puck in their own end this extended period of time. Then they get out there a short time later, and Hyman makes this kind of lame pass up the boards. And then McDavid doesn't fight. Like he's usually, Johnny, he's usually fighting for that puck, but he kind of lets himself get taken out of the play, and there's a point shot which gets deflected in. Um, it's just, and now it's 2-1. This is a game where it shouldn't be 2-1. It should be 3-0 by then.
5 nothing.
And they let the Blackhawks back into the game. Then it happens again. They get up 3-1 in the third, and they've been dominating. They've been doing really well, but they get a penalty. And what happens? I don't know what happened actually on this play. I don't know what Devon Shore was doing, but the point goes back to the was it's Domi on the point, and he starts moving it, and Devon Shore just comes shooting way past him, way out. And I
hmm
don't know what he was doing. Maybe did he lose his balance
No,
momentarily?
he was flying out there to try and get in between the 2 point men to interrupt the D to D pass, and Max Domi just said thank you very much and just casually walked right by the jailbreaking Devon Shore going the other way and walked into position and fired a screenshot that beat Skinner on the short side, and it was like And first of all, Malone made a weak clearance that went to Domi on the point that never had a chance to clear the zone. And Shore, like he did what he wanted to do, but
Why did
what
he
was
want
that?
that?
Was
What?
my question.
What?
He
Watch
did
what you
that
wish
earlier
for.
in the game. He had a flyby of a guy in the slot that was just
Yeah.
egregious. Like the guy was right there, and he just skated right past him, and the guy got a good shot. I don't know. He did
Yeah.
not. He did not have a good game, Devon Shore.
No, I gave him a 3 out of 10. It was just, and
That's
it could have been,
generous.
it could have been a two. Yeah, it could have. As we're talking, I'm thinking maybe a two would have been more aligned with his play, and I'm going to just change it right now because that's what we can do. Like, there's this little period when we're still talking, Bruce, where I feel
When he was on the ice at even strength against the Chicago Blackhawks, he played 6 minutes and 40 seconds at even strength, and the Oilers got outshot 4-0. I couldn't even get
yeah.
one shot on net.
Well, you know when Klim Kostin gets back in the lineup, who to take out? So
Yeah.
take out Shore and let. I don't know. Maybe they need him at center ice. I'm not sure. Um, but not his best game. Bruce, what is your numero?
Yeah. Lots of numbers from this game, David, but I know what you're going to come up with, and I'm going to just fire out a related number, which is 22 and a half, which is the number of hours between the start time of this game and the start time of tomorrow night's game. Tonight, in fact, it's closer to just straight 22, which is the minimum allowable under the CBA for a team to play between starts on consecutive days. You know, they can play 8 o'clock one night, 6 o'clock the next night, but they can't play 5 o'clock the next night. These games are both in Central Time Zone, but because this was on Canadian TV on a Wednesday night hockey and it was a doubleheader game, I mean, the poor people in Chicago, they had to go to this game that were paying customers. They had to go to an 8:30 game on a weeknight, and then they had some kind of pre-game ceremony that they never really let us know what it was. But every once in a while, the goal horn would go off, and by the time they dropped the puck, it was literally 8:55 local time. So
Ridiculous.
and now tomorrow night, the Oilers have to be prepared to start at 7 o'clock or 7:05 local time in Minnesota. And of course, they got to get from here to there, as the Kennedys used to say, in between times. And tomorrow's going to be a tall order. And one of the reasons it's going to be a super tall order is the numbers that you're about to relate.
Indeed, Bruce. So the Oilers, they really relied heavily on the Big Five tonight. And my numbers relate to the time on ice of the Big Five. Okay. Start with Cody Ceci, 25-50 total, 25-50. Zach Hyman, 24-34. Darnell Nurse, 28-57, almost half the game, a minute short of half the game.
I got 29:09 here, but same 29 minutes, let's call it.
Got 29:09.
Yeah.
I wonder why my thing. I'm gonna just update.
Summary.
Yeah, I got the event summary right in front of me too.
Sometimes I do
just
micro
changed 29:09. I needed to update it. Leon Draisaitl 26-13, 26-13, and Connor McDavid 27-06. Playing like he plays, Connor McDavid 27-06. Nurse played 23-19 at even strength, Bruce, and 4-17 shorthanded. So these were hard minutes from Darnell Nurse. And yeah, if he made a few mistakes at the end of the game, I guess we can forgive him, eh? Because that was a
retired by then.
Little bit. So this does not. I don't know. I don't know how these guys are going to be the next game. They are well-conditioned athletes at their very peak of their playing careers. They're still young men. So maybe the added 5 minutes in a game, maybe they can just brush that off, unlike mortals, mere mortals. But I just hope they have beds on the Oilers airplane so those guys can lie down. I don't know if they do. I don't know what the seating is. I hope they got nice big seats that you can fold out into a full bed so they can just go to sleep as soon as they get on that plane, which they're probably on right now. Shortly,
already on it, yeah.
Shortly they'll be on it, and get into Minnesota and have a good sleep all day long. And I don't know if they're going to go to the rink at all. If they even will skate tomorrow. You doubt
intense.
I would doubt that. So just take it easy, guys. Watch some daytime TV, Netflix, whatever, and hopefully they're ready for tomorrow night against the frickin' Wild, like that horrible, ghastly team that we
Yeah.
have to watch again. My least favorite, they're one. I don't know. Are they? I think they are. The Florida teams, like the Panthers, when they were bad, when they were a bad team, was a game I always hated to have to watch. But any game with the Wild, I just really hate watching the Wilds.
Tomorrow's not going to be fun. And just briefly go back to my number 22 and a half. That was kind of my over under that I set, that I didn't want any of the star players playing any more than that number of minutes in this game if they were going to have anything left for tomorrow's game in 22 and a half hours. And of course, they all exceeded that by several minutes. So we'll see what they got. And I mean, Jay Woodcroft's, I mean, he's turned a rock in a hard place because he's got four forwards from, second and third lines that are out. And he's, got to bring down guys like Devon Shore from the press box, or bring up guys like um, Tyler Benson from the minors, or I mean, they've got a few guys on the go right now, and so the disparity of ice time is just widening. And when you're playing 5 games in 8 days, or 3 and 4 with travel after each game, like they're doing, right now, that's a real rugged stretch. So hard to
Yeah,
expect them to have a great game tomorrow night. On the other hand, they've already established they're going to get a split out of the road trip. If they this game had gotten away on them, it would have been a real huge disaster.
pain, Bruce. That would have been
But
pain. They got so little out of the bottom two lines tonight. They got little ice time, those guys, and they just did little when they were out there, frankly. I mean, I think they could have Hamblin and Holloway might have played a bit more. I'm liking how both those guys look out there. But and they could have played Broberry and Bouchard a little bit more. I thought Evan Bouchard was really good this game. Actually, he made some great defensive plays, and he set up the Janmark goal um,
yeah,
with a fine pass. So no, I thought he was great, and they might have played that pairing a bit more and taken some of the heat off Nurse and Cece. But I can, like, the game starts to get close, and the coach wants to win, so he's going to play it safe, go with his veterans. I understand that as well, so I'm not criticizing the coach on this. Um, but
right.
they need a bit more. They need their third and fourth lines here. One of those two lines to really step up and get some offensive zone time on a few shifts against the Wild. And I'm not the Holloway
Just
Hamblin
cycle it.
Malone line. Is that a line? That was a line, right? I think that line might be.
Holloway, Hamblin, Malone, they were the last
Yeah,
2 games aligned.
I don't mind that line, and I think that
Mhm.
maybe they get something going, because that Hamblin really hustles, and Holloway is a fast hockey player who's looking to me like an NHL player the last handful of games. So, final
Yeah,
thoughts?
he's coming along for sure. Yeah, that goal, Puljujärvi made a great play along the blue line to
Yeah,
cause the turnover, and then Bouchard just fished out the puck, and he just calmly waited for the breakout to develop, and then he flipped it over the pile and got Nuge coming down the middle of the ice for the 2-on-1. That was a very calm, cool, and collected play by Bush that sprang that rush.
yeah,
So that's Bush at his best. He's starting to rack up the points now, and
yeah.
mind you, he took a bad penalty that kind of led to some of the late game grief. But
Wasn't that
he's
an
got
iffy penalty? I thought that
he
was
grabbed the
super.
guy. He had the guy's stick for about 4 or 5 seconds by the replay. He was
Or
holding
did
his
the other guy have
stick,
his stick?
and it was the hyper dangerous Colin Blackwell. You better keep him in arm's length.
Yeah.
Anyway, but yeah,
Oh, you're cutting out all of a sudden. You're cutting out, Bruce. Is your mic not in? Push it in. Can't hear you. Can't hear you. All right, maybe the listeners can hear Bruce. Oh, I think I can hear you now, Bruce. Did you?
5 or 6 goalposts today.
There we go. There's your mic
Okay.
back in. Okay.
I don't know what's going on with that connection. Okay. Sorry about that, folks. Anyway, they hit 5 or 6 posts. They got some real pretty goals. And then they had these like horrendous brain cramps from time to time, mostly in the game they dominated. But anyway, 3 game winners for Leon Draisaitl in the last 5 days, all of them in the late stages of the game, and he now has 6 on the season. Leon has 6, Connor has 3, the whole rest of the team has 4.
Not bad for Leon, considering Bob Stauffer keeps intimating that he's banged up, like in some way, like he's not really playing at 100% health. So, I mean, he looks pretty good to me, but he does look like he's maybe a step behind.
See him run Radko Gudas the other night?
Yeah, if there's ever a guy who deserved it.
he
Deserves got nothing
up
to do
at
with
that moment.
Yeah. Radko, he's a tough guy. I like Radko Gudas, actually. He is a tough customer.
I would like him if he was an Oiler. I would like him plenty.
Yeah. If you're ever casting a Vikings movie, Radko Gudas would be a good swordsman for the shield wall. That's all I'm saying.
Him and Adam Larson, you could put him on there.
That's right. Yeah, Philip Rogan can be, and Oscar Klefbom can be the leading men in that movie, but Radko Gudas and Larson. All right, Bruce, thanks for talking tonight.
Right, back at it tomorrow night. Thanks for listening, everyone.
And in the meantime, and in between times, this has been another edition of the Cult of Hockey podcast.